Hello, class. Mrs. D, Mrs. I, Mrs. F, F, I. So that's Matilda reference. Anyway, right, let's get going. Hi guys, Lloyd Haynes here. Welcome to Whiteboard Wednesdays Part 3. This is my first ever appearance on Whiteboard Wednesdays. When I saw the viewing stats, I saw that there was like millions watching every week, tuning in. There's even a waiting list to get, yourself on as a guest. We've got more viewers on this than Good Morning Britain. Today's lesson is my first time ever doing this teacher thing, so I might get a bit lost and pretend I'm Mr. Davis from back in year 2. But, here we go. Today's lesson is the 3 P's in business. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is he on about? But the way I like to deliver talks when I do talks at schools and colleges, etc., one of them you'll see on this channel probably by now. Smooth. So yeah, when I do these talks, what I like to do is kind of categorize everything that I'm trying to teach into sort of, is it like a, what's the word? Not like an analogy. When a word spells out, each letter spells out something. Is it an anagram? Anagram. Anyway, so 3 P's. The 3 P's of business. Okay? The first one is persistence. Now the reason why I say this is, there's a few examples I can give you. When Adam and I first started business at Jobs Global, we were initially solely an events company before we turned also into a digital marketing agency. When we first started in events, it was hard initially, we were doing well, but in April time we lost a fair amount of money. You'll probably see that on Instagram story if you've seen, on my feed, sorry. Lost a fair few thousand on an Easter weekend where we tried to do 5 shows in 1 week with very little proper event planning and just a very poor execution of the marketing budget and general logistics as well. So when it comes to persistence, what I mean by that is rather than us coming on, back on the Monday from the events and going, can't really do anything now, we're broke, because we're literally broke, we had no money, we were both overdrawn. At that point the business was trading in arrears. Should have actually closed shop there, never to be seen again. However, what we instead decided to do is focus on the ad sets that did work for our events and push them out to clients to try and get businesses to grow as well as us. By doing that, we were on the front line really for businesses and not just our own money, we were using other people's, which is, believe it or not, quite scary, because when you're using somebody else's ad budget, you're accountable to them as opposed to for yourself. Persistence for me means that we actually set up a digital marketing agency following that, and since then we've got quite an extensive client base which includes restaurants, e-commerce stores, funeral directors, foundations, vegan takeaways, the list goes on. The lead generation for them has been unbelievable. If it wasn't for persistence, never would have done it, ever. So related to the Do You DJ concept, which is a platform that I've launched for my DJs most recently, persistence has been absolutely key for me since the teenage years, right? If any of you are watching and maybe you're an artist or you could be a musician, you could be a makeup artist, you could be, I don't know, painter and decorator, it could be anything in the world, okay? You'll probably relate to this. If you're a sole trader, or some aspect of sole trader, then persistence, you'll know, means hell a lot, like an unbelievable amount, okay? The reason that I say that is that my first ever Cardiff gigs, my first ever one was in Glam. Shortly one after that was for Cellar Door, which is a house and techno brand in Cardiff. Shout out to those guys. And also the Valleys Way as well, if you're familiar with Wales. With them, I couldn't actually get on their platform at all. I tell you what I'll do now is, Adam was going to be editing this, I'm going to tell him now, I want a little thumbnail here of the conversations that I had with Cellar Door. Maybe a little scroll thing going on, make it look quite cool. But anyway, I know you can do it, it's quite tech savvy. And it's going to show the amount of messages that I had to send in order to get there. At one point I was doing like 1 a year and 2 a year to some places as well, which were quite extensive messages, more like a CV as opposed to can I work for you. After all those years of knocking on the door, eventually they answered, eventually. Took his time. I did the gig for free, and then eventually led to more work in other places, because when you do play to that one place, when you do that one job as a decorator, as a builder, whatever it is, what you find is that that person who has got you that job has a bunch of friends, and then it goes on and on and on again. It's not a pyramid scheme, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of the sense that you tap into their audience, and then again someone else's audience, and then again and again and again. It's a domino effect, same as why we do the podcast. We get guests on for Haynes Roberts Global Podcast, and it just goes bump, 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 on and on and on. So that's the first one, persistence. By the way, if you want any more information on any of these, or how you can relate these to your business, or your project, or yourself in your personal life, drop me a message. Again, someone by here, please, at Lloydie Haynes on Instagram. Peace. Number 2, as we want to make it all P's, so that, I like my alliteration, it's got to keep to the P's. Mind you, if this was a game with S and P's, I would be. Next one is, I'm going to have to move this up a minute, but product. This is fundamental. In fact, I'm going to do this. This is fundamental, because without this, you've got no service, you've got no product, you've got no business. When I'm going out to my clients and selling them digital marketing services, which are going to scale their business and lead generation generally, I'm not just saying, I've been able to overcome this obstacle and that obstacle, and now, I'm here, I'm able to deliver this plan to you today. It has to have substance, it has to have a product, there has to be something that I can sell, there has to be something which is scalable and sustainable. That's a term that Adam likes to use quite a lot in his, Not a product, you're nothing. As a DJ, if you can't mix, then you have to go back to this. This is really, probably this should have been number 1, but I like to put persistence as number 1, because I think without persistence, you're not going anywhere. Product, without the product, you're in the wrong field. So you may have persistence, guys, this is important. You may have persistence in one field, or generally, which is what I want everyone to have persistence, generally, anything that life throws at you, just carry on battling on. But if you don't have the product in that niche, get out of there. In the legal world, I had the product in the sense that as a lawyer, as a data protection lawyer, I knew that I could deliver a result for breaches of confidentiality. I knew it. However, if I tried to do that in the employment world, in employment law, probably not so much. If I tried to do it in land law, no chance. So even though I'd have the persistence, and I'd keep going, no, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, if I didn't have the product and the training, nothing would have happened. So whatever field that you're in, you have to make sure that you've got the product in place. That's whether that product is your own product. If you're an entrepreneur in a goods or service-based business, you have to make sure that you are confident in your service, you're staying innovative, and you're making sure that you're always forward-thinking and always expanding. All right, you have to stay innovative, because in our field, there's so saturated, such a saturated market of young entrepreneurs at the moment. In all honesty, guys, we are killing it. And I don't mean just us, I mean young entrepreneurs generally. Under the ages of 30, they're all absolutely wiping the floor with these more corporate brands which have been around for tens of years. Can give you so many examples of clients that I've gone to, and not only have I had persistence to get that meeting done and to get the client boxed in, to get them signed off on a contract, to get them one of our clients and hold them. That's the persistence, despite people saying no to me. But I've been confident in the product, and I've been able to show results by saying, look, if you spend £542.50 on this lead generation campaign, you will get an extra £60,000 in revenue, roughly. I'm able to do that, I'm confident in the product. Third P. Now, I can massively say this is prudent to, so relevant to DJs of today. And I know I say DJs, that's my first ever background, so I'm going to relate it to artists, okay? But it goes for any business. The music industry is so transferable to businesses. This one, PR. PR, now formerly called press releasing, we kind of look at it as a more generalized term now, right? But PR can stand for marketing in general. Obviously, as a marketer, I'm going to say, he's going up. There we go. Obviously, as a marketer, I'm going to say the PR is essential. But I don't mean in a case that fills my pocket. I mean in the case of you guys posting your shit yourself. It's so infuriating for me when somebody's got the first 2 P's. They're persistent, they're driving every day, they're going, look at my content, I'm pushing out this record releasing, I'm playing this gig, this date, this gig, that day, pushing themselves out constantly all the time. They're doing it, they're really honing in on that part in their mind which is saying, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. They're driving forward, they're trying to get sales, but there's no proper execution with PR. You see countless times people are pushing out the fact that they are playing in a local club 5 miles away, and they're pushing it out to people who have no interest in London or a global kind of push, or they're boosting posts and all the rest of it. Now, guys, let's keep it simple, right? What you need to be doing is keep your content relevant and up to date. You have to be providing. I'm going to go into further insight on this one. And this is good stuff because this is what I tell my clients, okay? You have to be given what's called brand awareness. I'll talk about this again sometime when we talk about funneling. What's the PR is that you talk about brand awareness. You're saying who you are, what you do, where you do it, okay? Anything that kind of pushes yourself forward as the figurehead of that brand that you are becoming, okay? So many artists in particular don't push themselves forward as a brand. It's just a picture here and there of them DJing. If your name is Joe Bloggs the DJ, you need to be pushing forward Joe Bloggs the DJ as a brand. So brand awareness, okay? I can talk more in depth about that another time, but essentially what I'm saying is who, what, where, why. Who you are. Talk about where you come from as an artist. What was hard about that place that you grew up in. Where were your musical influences first? Where did they come from? How have those translated into what you're doing today? Where you're based. Again, I come from this small place, or this small town. My first gig was in this city. How did it make you feel? What about it really captivated you and made you realise this is where I want to be? You're pushing yourself forward as a brand, as a figurehead of the business. Then there is value. So you're going to be giving value to your viewers, okay? If you're just uploading content on your Instagram, on your Facebook, which isn't really giving anyone a reason to comment, or a reason to engage with you, you're not becoming a brand, you're not pushing yourself forward as a figurehead of the business, which I keep on saying, okay? So if you are an artist, you have to be giving that value. You have to be talking about why you are the turn-to person in your area, in your demographic, as a DJ, as a makeup artist, as a sole trader of any sort, as a business even. In a law firm, the value-driven campaign, for example, for a law firm, again, it can translate to any industry, would be that Joe Bloggs, again, was a client of ours. He valued our service because we generated in compensation of X amount. He believes that we are the trusted source for that particular niche of law because we are award-winning in that sector. That's giving people value after you've given the brand awareness. To not complicate it too much, all that means then is that when there is a call to action, a CTA, a call to action for the business, in the PR, so we're still on this PR part, right? Okay, when there's a call to action and it is a case of book, let's have a look, book now, they do it. Or even more simplistic than that, the call to action could just be as simple as this: follow me. Right? It costs £0 to follow me, £0 to follow Adam, £0 to follow Joe Bloggs the DJ from down the road, right? But the thing is that Joe Bloggs will be able to give you real, relevant, authentic, raw content every single day that provides brand awareness and value, okay? It is simple as that. I'm not talking about spending £1,000 on a PR agency, to get your music on Blank or any other sort of distributor. I'm not talking about that. I'm not even talking about my own profile here, or my own platform rather, of Do You DJ, although the link will probably be in the comments somewhere, right? Cheeky plug. Okay, so that's persistence, product, and then of course, PR. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed. I know it's more general, this approach, but I want it to be more general because I want your guys' input to let me know what you want to be talking about. But that's transferable into every single niche, whether you are a sole trader, an SME, an artist, a teacher, anything that you're doing, whether you're doing something on the side. My mother used to run an ironing business. Without a product being good, she wasn't going to get the customers. Without persistence, she wasn't able to go out there and hand out the business cards even when people tell her to F off. Okay? And without the PR, she wouldn't have had the business cards in the first place. She wouldn't be pushing herself forward as Donna. She's the one who does the ironing. So simple as that, guys. Don't forget, of course, to like, comment, and subscribe to the page to keep updated. Also, last plug, I promise, check out the Haynes Global Podcast. This week we've got Mark Wright on. It's a cheeky little plug there, because he's not directly on it, but it's a live a clip of him and I conversing at Expo in Bristol. So yeah, check it out. Cheers, guys.
One last thing.
Oh,
Right. So, and you said I was going to get you an early birthday present.
what?
What do you think about you?
Early birthday present?
Yeah.
It's a client, isn't it?
See you on the last holiday. Guess what I was booked?
What? Fuck off.
Some waves.
What? Oh my fucking god, man!